Been sponsored by the Ubuntu Room. Come join Dana Sardano as she offers life-changing advice that will affect the spiritual, emotional, and physical aspects of your being. Within her easily available writings, you will find the solution you need for your problems. Tune in to the Ubuntu Room on the Brooklyn Cafe Show.
Hi, my name is Dana Sardano, and this is the Ubuntu Room. I am so glad you're here. Thank you for joining me. As Dawn said, today we are talking second recommandment in our second week of the 10 Recs book club, and super excited. So I just want to share with you the second part of the second recommandment. So, I shall not become entrenched in my emotions. Rather, I shall trust my emotional guidance system and rely on this information to inform me of what I don't want in order to direct me to what I do want. So here's the conversation that I'd like to have today. I'm just going to put this right here. Here's where I'd like to go with this today. Firstly, I just want to reflect on last week's recommandment. The first recommandment, I shall not claim victimhood. And really the essence of that is personal accountability. The essence is that life isn't happening to us, it's happening for us, and it's for us to take this information and these experiences to learn and to grow from them. And then it rolls right into the second recommandment of I shall not become entrenched in my emotions. I should recognize, or I will recognize, that our emotions are a form of guidance in our GPS. We have so many things in our personal GPS to help us navigate, and our emotions are one of them. And I just want to foreshadow to next week for a second about the third recommandment. And the third recommandment, and I'm going to butcher it, but it's something, I only wrote the book, but it's something about not allowing our beliefs and our patterns that don't serve us to affect our life experience, rather, recognize what they are and change them. So the first three recommandments, they all work together about being accountable, not becoming entrenched in our emotions, recognizing our beliefs and patterns, and really looking at ourselves and how we are the center of attraction and how we guide everything. In the second recommandment, I do a lot, I focus a lot on what this looks like as children and how in our formative years, our unprocessed emotions from whatever traumas, whatever difficulties we may had, how they create beliefs that we have and how they evolve into patterns. And then it's the setup for the third recommandment. So we did talk about that, and we could talk a little bit about that in this segment, but what I really want to focus on, where I'd like to see the conversation go, is understanding how our emotions carry a frequency. And a couple weeks ago, before we started the book club, I did a whole thing on manifestation and frequency and alignment and all that, and I really want to tie the emotional guidance into that. So I just want to like I said, plant a couple seeds here. Firstly, our emotions carry a frequency. And if we want to manifest something of a different frequency, we have to be very aware of our emotions, allow ourselves to process the ones that are uncomfortable, and then recognize the emotions we need to align with that frequency. And I just want to share an analogy just so we could all kind of visualize this. So imagine you're at a buffet, which I imagine all the time, but imagine you're at a buffet. And when you're at this buffet, there are different serving stations, right? You may have your Asian food station, and you may have your shellfish station, your carving station, your desserts, so on and so forth. I want you to think about those stations as the opportunities for experience of a certain emotion. So just stick with me for a second. So the Asian station is about fear, disgust, like anger, frustration, like the emotions that fall. I'm just going to group them together. That's your Asian station. And your carving station is creativity and inspiration. And I'll just give you one more. Your raw bar is your shellfish station is about love and compassion and peace and harmony, right? So not only do these different stations carry the frequency of these emotions, but the different food items that are offered in these stations are different experiences that correspond. So again, it's getting a little bit out there, but I'm gonna bring it home in just a second. So if I'm looking at the creativity station, which was The carving station. Yeah, I remember myself. So if I'm looking at the carving station and it's about inspiration and creativity, well, what opportunities for experience could I have at that station? Well, I could write a book, and I could do a painting, and I could sing a song, and I could, co-create something with some friends, and that feels really good. So each of those stations has all of these opportunities that correspond with those emotions. The only way I'm going to be able to go to one of those stations is if my emotional frequency, my baseline, where I'm hanging, corresponds with one of those. So if I want to go to the carving station, but yet I am sitting in resentment and lack of worthiness and self-doubt, the only thing I can have, Asian, right? Yes. The only thing I can have is Asian. Now, that's my baseline. Now, that's not to say that I can't have a baseline emotional frequency and then, feel self-doubt, for a little bit. But if I don't process through that emotion and return to my baseline, I can only have vision. So, maybe an egg roll gets thrown at me. Whatever it happens, I eat the egg roll, or I discard it, or I deal with it. But I have to go back to whatever it is I'm doing in order to align with carving station in that case. So it's really important that we look at a couple of things, and then I want to open up for conversation. One, look at the patterns. This is going back to the chapter in the book. Look at the patterns that we've created for ourselves based on our beliefs, based on maybe traumas or influence that we had as children that we didn't properly process emotions, and we became entrenched in them. I want to look at that. But I also want to look at baseline emotional frequencies that we carry on the regular. And I'm not talking about being happy and then somebody cutting me off and me being mad. The mad, if it comes and goes, it's fine. But if I carry that mad with me throughout the day and it affects my frequency, then I want to talk about that. So I want to think about, where are we hanging? Are we hanging in self-doubt? Are we hanging in despair? Are we hanging in resentment? Or are we hanging in joy, peace, freedom, love, and those higher frequencies? Where are we hanging out? Are we properly processing our emotions? And are our emotions keeping us from aligning with what we truly want? And that's what I want to talk about and break. Anybody?
So I'm saying it's kind of like those collars that animals have, and it'll only unlock if you're wearing the right collar. You can only go to the table, if you're so you have to. So you can't eat at any. You can't go to all of them at you have to. I need more about this.
Okay.
I need to understand
the analogy that happened to be very complicated. Because I could see the visual, because I'm always thinking buffet.
I'm almost there. I just want to know, you can't be angry and create. I can't have both Asian and the carving station.
You can be angry in the moment. That is life. These emotions are meant to trigger us to information. So if something happens and it elicits fear, that fear is telling me that I need to either get out of the road, or I need to not, go into a van with a stranger, or, so the fear is alerting me to something. Or if something makes me angry, it's alerting me to something. Just to give you a minor, ridiculous example. I got a text this morning from my kid. My kid is in color guarded. I'm going to be sharing this with the public, but I got a text from this woman this morning asking if I could help volunteer on Saturday. And I wasn't going to do it, and I have my reasons. I've helped, I've donated, I've done all of the things, and I felt myself get angry. And I was like, why am I angered by this? And a lot of people would just accept the anger and then just be angry because so-and-so sucks and they're wronged me and my kid didn't do but I've learned to go, well, what is really angering me? Well, the anger is, of course I want to help, but I feel a little bit of guilt and discomfort that I'm choosing not to help. Even though I have my reasons, I feel myself battling with that because my desire is to help. And then I worked through it, I processed it, I said, no, thank you, won't be there, and then I moved on with my day. But so I can go to carving station because I worked through it. But if I sat in that, and then I told Wendy about it, and was like, Wendy, she wanted me to, how could she actually think that I would go and volunteer after everything I've done, and then fall into those old patterns of everybody wants so much from me, and I'm always being taken for granted, and those beliefs and so on and so forth. And now I'm sitting here eating egg rolls because I haven't processed an emotion that could have been so simply.
Go to the carving station, you stayed at the egg roll station.
No, I did the opposite.
No, because even though you felt you did it, you didn't, because then you complained about it. So if you're complaining about it, then you had the egg rolls. And egg rolls and egg rolls.
I appreciate you saying that, and I appreciate you calling me out on the air, but I actually, when it happened this morning, I was like, oh, this is a perfect example to share. I have processed and worked past it, and I am having carved turkey as we speak, Freddie.
I would have taken the egg roll with me to the car.
Yeah,
that's what I want to do.
Just in case I get hungry.
Don't you walk around sometimes and you're feeling good about something and something like that happens and you're going to walk around with it even though you're going to go do good stuff? You're gonna go on the air and nothing matters.
Yeah, but can you still do the good stuff? Right, exactly.
But
Are you faking it? Are you really?
Honey, I'm gonna tell you, you're never gonna know.
Yeah, but you know.
We're talking alignment now.
No, I know. My alignment, you see, because those small scuffles do not change my alignment. I could be angry and still be aligned.
I don't think so.
I do.
We've witnessed you.
It puts a wobble in there.
No, I want you to think.
Aligned. How are you knowing that you're aligned?
Because I still function, and I want them to think that I'm wobbly. I want them to feel the passion, because if you don't feel back, then you don't know. This leads to the thing in the morning. You're not going to know whether it's being effective. Don't ever believe, and I shouldn't say this because we're on the air, but never believe what your eyes deceive, because what's really going on behind it is the real deal. So I can eat an egg roll and get me some turkey. You'll never know it. You will never know it. She thinks she knows it because she's known me longer than everybody else. But there are times she doesn't.
That's the thing, though, is that we don't know it. You know it. And ultimately, you're the one that's swallowing the poison in a sense.
Nah, not too much poison.
No, I get you. But there is an underlying thing that your body is. I mean, very much so. We all navigate the ups and downs, and there's ups and downs, maybe a dozen in one day sometimes.
Well, let me ask you one specific.
Sure.
Which is the one that I always preach against, is fear. Mm-hmm. Fear of anything.
Yes.
Fear not to do well. Fear not to win. Fear.
Fear that I'm going to mess it up.
Because somebody installed in us when we were birth canaled the slap. That slap you get begins the fear.
Well, some fear is healthy.
Yes.
We want you to be fearful of certain things to a certain degree.
Exactly.
But not fearful of being prosperous, not fearful of speaking your truth, not fear of standing up for yourself.
I love her.
And speaking, in your own alignment.
But then let me ask you a question. I'm a soldier, and fear of dying is going to keep me alive.
Yeah.
And that's why we said healthy fear
That's
is
healthy
important.
fear.
All the things that I'm afraid of have to do with my circumstance. When I come home, do I bring the fear with me?
Not necessarily.
I leave it at the egg roll station?
Fear, if you're in the war, will keep you alive, yes, but it'll also keep you in check with what you need to do to stay alive. Fear that comes from our programming, for example, you say you're aligned. What are you aligned with? Because being aligned is being able to, like she said, shake it off.
Function.
When we're born, we are, I think Don Miguel Ruiz said this back in, I don't know how many years ago. We're programmed. We're programmed with our set of parents. And we're raised with these expectations, and fear is part of those things. If you don't do well in school, you're going to fail and you're not going to get this. If you don't dress right, they're not going to like you and you have to do that. That is ingrained in us as we grow up. Now,
Okay, I would
and
disagree,
what you said
but okay.
about the morning show, and you guys were talking about earlier, you can do both. You can work on the emotional, but when you're a child, it's hard.
Yeah.
And fixing, the teachers and fixing the parents' way of thinking things and teaching our children. Had I known half the things I know now, my children would be different.
Amen.
So if you had your finger on the button to go back to age 4, would you press it?
I would.
Okay. Well, that explains a lot of it. But I can't tell you.
As far as knowledge, my experiences now have led me to where I am today, which I'm very grateful for.
Yeah, no, understood. When I was raised, my parents never said if you don't do well in school. For me, it was just the opposite. They saw that I was doing too well in school. The only question for me was whether or not I was going to skip 2 grades, because they didn't think I was going to be mature enough to handle it. That was their biggest dilemma. So there was no fear there. When I was an altar boy and the fear of religion, there was no fear there. I don't live through that. My biggest fear is for people not understanding that I don't live in fear. I don't have fear. I mean, I know it's hard to believe that
That's
people
awesome.
install that, but this is what I'm talking about. I'll be able to take an egg roll with me and have some turkey, and it ain't gonna bother me. It's not gonna change my core of what I'm trying to accomplish.
That's beautiful, and that's not the norm.
And that's
Yeah.
exactly what I was going to
Anomaly.
say. You're the anomaly.
And I
You
Yes.
are the anomaly.
And I just want to go back to the analogy, because if you're taking the egg roll, you are carrying the anger.
Yeah, I know.
But carrying anger in any way, the one thing that I picked up along the way, and I'm sure you guys have seen this, heard this somewhere, that when you have an emotion, if you have that emotion for longer than 45 seconds or a minute, then you are choosing to stay in that emotion.
True.
So if something angers me, now it's alerted me to information, and now it's for me to act. After that minute, I'm just choosing to be angry. So if I'm carrying that egg roll, there is nothing about my carrying that egg roll that's beneficial to me. So yeah, I can carry the egg roll.
No, you're right. But I could put the egg roll down too.
Yes.
And that's the point. So if you're choosing to carry it, then I think there's a whole other laundry list of problems there, and that's what creates health issues and all of that stuff. But to be able to put that egg roll down so I can go to the carving station, I think takes a lot of work, and it takes the recognition that the emotions are just here to alert us. I shared the story about what happened this morning. No emotional attachment to it. And put the
Are you
egg roll
going to go
down.
Saturday?
No, I told her no. I'm unable. For my own personal reasons.
All right, so we're looking at your book for
Yes.
people who want to know if your books are really about egg rolls in the carving station.
Okay, yeah.
That would be no. That's Dana's interpretation to explain it, but people who are reading the book,
Yes.
and you're looking for solutions, I think
Yes.
people can relate to this. No matter how hard I try, the outcome is always the same. To me,
Yes.
that's back to victimhood.
Yes.
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 Right?
Absolutely.
Okay, why do these things always happen to me? Again, back to being the victim.
Yes.
Why can't I find happiness? Looking for the tangible versus within yourself. So then you come up with the solutions, and all right, number one, take your power back. Take a moment in the situation of your life that does not bring you contentment. Take your power back. So you can't find happiness. Why? What is it? Everyone treats me that way. What did I say? No matter how hard I try, the outcome is always the same.
Yeah.
That is giving into a circumstance or an energy or whatever it is. So how do we get ourselves out of it? You say, take your power back. See if you can identify your pattern of behavior, and then trace it back, which I think is kind of hard. You had me thinking about that with my kids today. Yeah. And where was the source of the pattern, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
to me, I know there are certain things that my kids take with them on these feelings. And then I think back, what could they have possibly felt in their childhood that I deemed a good childhood? Perfect, no, but good, that they feel this way now as an adult. So it has me thinking, forget about myself. I
Yeah.
can't even figure out, and that's people's perceptions as well.
Yeah.
But giving people the understanding of what are the true emotions that they're trying not to have. Is it this victim? Is it why do good things always happen to other people? Why no matter how hard I try, I'm going to fight with the person I live with? Or why can't I bring in money no matter how hard I try? My business isn't thriving.
Yeah.
How do we change? To me, the mindset to him is something tangible of maybe I need to make more phone calls and go out and get more sponsors. To me, is it a mindset that I need to change? Am I reframing the what we're doing?
Yeah. I see you nodding. Do you want to?
Yeah, I would
was gonna
say that
awareness. Awareness
awareness
is
and
key.
perception.
Rec
It's
7,
that
by the way.
it's that maybe
Awareness
for
is
you
key.
you don't carry that, but somebody like we say you're the anomaly. A lot of us come from a household where we were criticized, we weren't allowed to spread our wings, we were controlled, we were manipulated. So now if that's the baseline that we're talking about, it's going to take longer than 45 seconds to come out of it.
Agreed.
You
That's a
know,
tough-
so we are all in steps, in spots of steps. Some of us are in first grade, some of us are in second, some of us are in AP. So it really is finding where your baseline is, accepting it, being aware. My life coach at one time, many years ago, she said to me, how do you know you have a flat tire? You know, what do you do? Do you keep on driving on it, or do you acknowledge it? And then what do you do about it? So first is the acknowledgement. I have a flat tire. And now is, do I call somebody to help me fix it or whatever it is that you do? But it has to come down to awareness. And I know a lot of clients, sometimes my husband, who's unaware of his pattern, of his victimization. So he tells me, I'm trying really hard. So I'll give him a little bit of a flashlight in the area and let him grow. And then from there, ask his questions. We've been married over 26 years. And to say that he's at the same space that I am is not even. You know what I mean? He's still growing, I'm still growing, but for the most part, there's an awareness. But if we go from his awareness, we're starting at first or second grade. Where if you talk to me, maybe I'm in high school. That's not a hierarchy thing. It's an awareness of where we're at. And in that space, then you can make the adjustments where somebody can say, I'm going to take the egg roll with me or leave it behind, or I'm going to take it so far. I'm going to be angry about this thing. I'm going to do this thing about it, be proactive, get myself out of victimhood. This is how I'm going to handle it. And then I'm going to move forward.
Every day we have a choice of how we want to show up.
1,000,000%.
Yeah. And I just want to comment what Bella said about the awareness, and then I want to go back to what Dawn was saying about, well, how it's hard to follow those patterns back. And I noticed things with myself that, like, something would come up and then I'm like, I have an adverse emotion to it. And then I'm like, okay, where is that coming from? Oh, and then you have to look at, what do I believe around that? What is the pattern in my life? And just go back as far as you can. Maybe
the root?
Where is it? But maybe my pattern at this moment, maybe because we talk about, you know, where we are in our awareness, maybe I only go back to, oh, in college I was always like that. But if I give myself time, or maybe that emotion will come up again, and then I could trace it back to 8th grade. And then sometimes I had a situation, we're going back a year or so ago, that I had this memory, I think it was meditation, or I woke up from a dream of being in the crib. And when I was in the crib, and I might have talked about it in one of the segments, I was, you know, making a lot of noise, and I was trying to get out of the crib, and my brother came in, who was about 4, and he smacked me, and my mother allowed it. And so the belief that the baby picked up was, the adults in your life aren't there to protect you. You make noise, you express what you need, you're not worthy of a response. I was able to trace it back to the crib, but it took me my whole adult life to finally get there. So it's just awareness, willingness, work.
Most of these habits come from generations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most of these habits come from our parents and how their parents treated them and how their parents treated them.
Yeah.
So we have to decide at our point, again, depending on the age of the person, but it has to come to a point where this is the end of the cycle. That's it.
Yeah,
my kids are not gonna, or my grandkids, you know? And
It has to be your choice.
it has to be a choice. We have to be aware. And when something triggers us, it used to be when I was younger, I was like, why did this person do that? It's their fault. It's this. It's that. Now I'm like, okay, what in me is creating this situation? What do I need to learn? I think that's the most important thing, because everything is either a lesson or a blessing. Every experience.
Or an invitation to shift.
Yeah, and I think a great tool for people that, you know, are listening, that don't know how to find the awareness, or can't seem to get out of that victimization, is every moment or every time that you go to point the finger at someone, just turn it back at yourself and ask yourself, where is this coming from? So instead of doing this, just take that moment. Just take a moment to point it back at yourself and ask yourself, where is this coming from? Have I always reacted this way? And like she said, bring it down into that root cause and find the root cause. And you can do theta, meditations, you can do all kinds of meditations that will help bring you into that root cause. But bring that finger back to yourself, because we are co-creators of our
What role
reality.
are we playing?
Yeah.
Everything that's out here stems from what's in here, because of the vibrational pool.
All right, let's take a quick commercial break. More to come on the other side. More to come with 10 Recommandments for Personal Empowerment by Dana Sardano. You can get this book at ubuntu.fishgallery.com. More to come. We'll be right back.
All right, we're back. You know, I'm surprised you haven't said 2 words.
I'm kind of absorbing everything.
What
that's
are you,
being thrown out.
sponge?
I am a sponge. I absorb.
We're all sponges.
Yeah. We should all be sponges.
age difference.
I'm surprised you haven't said something, because you're in this new age where you guys at this age are seeing more and being more aware than we were at your age.
100%.
Definitely. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot, like I said, to take in. it was funny. I was laughing with Dana earlier. I didn't really do my homework, but kind of going back to the egg roll and carving station. One of my biggest thing is when I become really stressed, I tend to let that get the best of me, and it really clouds all forms of judgment, and I fall into these like self-sabotaging behaviors, and then I notice I can't be creative. I can't come into work and I can't do what I'm supposed to do because I'm just so focused on these really bad negative thoughts. So it's like, okay, I need to take a step back and remove myself from that situation and be like, why am I stressed? What is triggering the stress, so on and so forth, and how do I overcome it and cope with it in like a healthy way? So that's something that's interesting, especially in my life right now. A lot of things going on, but and also
that's big at your age.
Yeah.
I did not think that way at your age.
oh yeah,
No, we were doing all sorts of distracting behavior.
Whatever that wasn't it.
Blaming everyone else and feeling miserable.
yeah,
You know, I gotta
another-
add. Oh, I'm sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
that's
Go
okay.
ahead.
Another option when you are stressed is to look at the next best emotion that you could feel.
yeah.
The next
That's a good one.
happiest thought that
Yeah.
you could feel.
How can I kind of reframe it
And then even if it's not related,
Yeah.
just, I don't know, maybe you like sunsets, think of a sunset. You know, something that'll get you out of that.
yeah.
If you like sunflowers, think of that. And then it'll take you, think of Freddie.
I can't think of Freddie.
Smile.
He'll stress me out
Or
more.
a victory that you've
music.
had, something successful, something
that
that.
make you happier, and then you can deal with whatever it is that's stressing you in a less stressed
Yeah.
manner.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or bring yourself, as well as bring yourself to the moment. Like when I'm stressing about something that hasn't happened yet, or I'm worried about something, I'm like, oh, what is my circumstance right now?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sitting, the air conditioning's on, I'm not hungry, which is nice. You know, I got some good sleep, I feel good. So that thing that I'm concerned about has nothing to do with this moment right now.
Yeah.
So you're bringing yourself in the present and then attaching these ideas of, ooh, puppies and kittens and sunflowers, oh my. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, something that I do a lot, and I also tell people to do, especially those around me, is journal. Ever since I've started journaling,
That's awesome.
is putting your thoughts and feelings that you can't really put into words in like a conversational setting, but able to write them down is completely different and very transformative on how you view the circumstances that you're in, and allows you to actually process the emotions and kind of just like go through the motions, and like, even if it's sometimes I just write about my day and I don't really have anything important to write about, quote unquote important, it's just like, great, let me just put it pen to paper and just be able to be like, oh wow, this is what's happening. And you know,
That's
it helps kind of just what we're
Again,
talking
this
about.
new generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
A
evolved.
lot more
That's a
involved
great
and
tool.
aware than we are.
Yes, absolutely.
And we have a whole room of stuff going on over there.
But there are times when parents do the best they can do, the best of their abilities. Now, that doesn't mean they hit you or they've abused you or you've been sexually molested. I'm not talking about those parents. I'm talking about parents that truly do the best that they possibly can do,
Yes.
based on their upbringing, and things they want to change. But yet your kids still come out the way they come out. So part of that is nature.
Crapshoot, dog.
Part of
It's
it
a crapshoot.
is nurture. So I feel like always blaming your parents, again, those parents that did the best they could.
Yeah.
To take a look back and understand, say, you know what, I know they did the best they could with the circumstances they were given. Was your dad overseas? Was your dad in war? Was he a soldier? Was mom home raising you alone with no income? Again, was there no extended family that the situation was as it was? And to step back and say, you know what, I need to look at it that way. And my triggers are such that they are. But then we're not pointing blame, because mom and dad did the best they could do based on what they were given at that point in time.
Yeah, and, you know, even in the prologue, I talk a lot. Like I talk about situations in my life, and then I'll say, you know, I'm sharing the story from this adult healed perspective, but I'm like, the child's belief was, and it doesn't matter how good a parent you are. The child doesn't recognize that dad was in the service and away at war. The child just knows I was abandoned by my father.
So then they feel abandonment.
So they feel abandonment, so
Yeah.
they carry that, and that's why it's so important. Two things. One is, if the child can learn how to process these emotions in real time, and that comes from healthy adults, understanding that, oh, that child may feel abandoned, get ahead of it and walk the child through that. Or when the child becomes an adult and they have all these patterns of abandonment. Because if you have abandonment issues, you're going to repel people to the point where they abandon you, so you could work through those abandonment issues. And so the child has to have the awareness and then the willingness to do something about it. So you are absolutely right. The parent could have done the best they could do. The circumstances could have been great. But if the child perceived something in a way that created an irrational belief and then an unhealthy coping mechanism and then perpetuated a pattern that was not serving them, then that's the child's cross to bear, so to speak. That's for the child to overcome. We could assist them, the parents could assist them.
Or work on it.
Yeah.
Like in Belkis's case with your client, the person keeps getting partners who are abusive.
Yeah.
Because that's what they had. Until they decide and say, okay.
Well, awareness, because she didn't know that it was coming from that, because she didn't remember that had happened when she was young. So that's why it always comes back to awareness. We don't have that awareness when we're going through it. We're in that victimization mode. So even like what you were explaining with parents, if you're not in awareness then and you're not out of that victimization, then you're going to keep looking at your parents as the shitty parents, or the bad parents, or the parents that didn't do enough, or they could have done more, or why didn't they show up more. So until you're out of that victimization, which comes with awareness, it's very difficult and challenging for people to know why they're feeling this way and where is it coming from.
Yeah, I think a very important thing for parents to do is to validate. It's okay for you to feel this way. Not, how could you possibly feel like that? That's not right. No, your feelings are valid. You need to be able to validate that the child is being felt abandoned, felt X, felt Y.
Yeah, validate their feelings.
Validation of your feelings is like essential, even as adults. Like,
you matter, your feelings matter.
Exactly, 100%. Without that validation, this is the best I can do, hon. This is the best I can do for you, and I understand that you feel, like in your case, abandonment, or sad, or like we don't have enough, or X, Y, and Z. But whatever it is, those feelings are valid.
Yeah, and I do just want to go back to how a lot of these patterns are formed throughout our childhood, and we tend to first think of the parents and that the parents are at fault. But I do just also want to mention how important it is that the friends that you make during childhood,
your circle is essential.
Are completely important, because
even
the people you're
teachers.
hanging out with, the teachers as well, because they are taking their belief patterns and their beliefs that they learned from their parents, and then you're learning it from them. So maybe it wasn't your parents, it could have just been the friends that you had, maybe your partners that you had growing up or throughout your teenage years. And it's funny that you mentioned, I laugh, not like in a bad way.
Funny, huh?
About emotions being invalidated, is that's something that I went through all throughout my teenage years with the partner that I was with at the time for about 5 years. So now I have taken that belief that my feelings are invalid and taken that with me since then. So I'm kind of trying to reframe my patterns and my thought processes to be like, okay, my feelings are valid, and that's what I try to do with others now, because I didn't get that. So that's really funny that you said that.
Can I give you a tool on that, since you're on that topic?
Yeah.
Write a letter to that person. Write a letter that it tells that person everything that person made you feel. All the good, bad, and ugly. And since you're so good at journaling, write a nice, great, deep, emotional letter to this person.
You're gonna cry.
You don't have to send it.
I actually recommend that you burn it when you're done.
Oh, I like that.
We did that at the
Yes, we did.
No, not the seance.
Burn
Burn it and then say thank you for the lessons that you brought me, because now I can learn and be better from them. But you can say that once you're done saying all the other things.
All the important, well-worded.
But yes, you're right. It's not just our parents, it's our friends. Oh, why are you wearing those shoes? Oh, that dress doesn't look good on you. Your siblings. A kid on the playground that's telling you, oh God, you're so fat, and you're 8 years old and now you're thinking you're fat the rest of your life. So yes, it's your entire surrounding.
But so if you like, I mean, I know I can identify some certain like processes and unhealthy behaviors and things that I'm attracting, but I don't know why I can't. I mean, do I have to like do a meditation or get hypnosis? Is it something related to my child? Like, I'm not really, I haven't figured it out yet.
Quiet.
All of those are good.
Quiet.
And the best possible thing, I don't know specifically, and I don't know if you don't want to share it, that's fine, but if there's something that you're not able to do or not able to complete or not able to achieve or something that you feel you're lacking, the best thing in the world is that mirror in front of you. What is it in me that's not letting me accomplish this? What is it in me? Because it's all about you. Mm-hmm. It's your story. Mm-hmm. And you write, you're the author, the producer. In this studio, you see all these people, you're all these people all together put into one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I often get in my own way. And
Yes.
so I don't
We
know
all
how
do
to
that.
get her.
We all
I
do.
look in the mirror, I'm like, just want to get her out of the way sometimes.
Well, I would start with not saying that anymore.
Exactly.
I would start with looking in the mirror and saying, I see you, I hear you, I feel you. And start having acceptance for the good, the bad, and the ugly. First start with true acceptance of all of you.
Yeah.
And then you can sit in stillness, in meditation. There's 100,000 new modalities every day
Yep.
for healing that you can look into that work for you. But start with you.
Stop going to the egg roll station.
Okay, Dana.
Love egg rolls.
Forgiveness.
All of those stations, except all the parts of you, because they're all valid.
Yeah.
I
Forgiveness.
have a forgiveness little thing that's really good if you choose to, because it's forgiving yourself too. You just say, look at yourself in the mirror and say, Atma Namaste. The divinity in me sees the divinity in you, and you're looking at yourself.
Atma Namaste.
I forgive you.
Do I have to do it out loud?
No.
It
don't
would
need
be
to.
nice
No,
to, though.
you don't
can.
have to. You can.
You can
Eventually,
do it,
you'll
but
get
it's gonna
I
comfortable
feel like
enough
I
to do it.
probably
by
should
yourself.
because I don't want to.
Your
Okay,
words
Dana,
have power.
What is next for next week?
So next week we're talking about the toxic behavioral patterns, irrational beliefs that we pick up from unprocessed beliefs, unprocessed emotions from our childhood experiences. I won't even say trauma. And we're going to look at our patterns. So here's everybody's homework. You're going to, I would like you to read Recommandment 3. Now, in Recommandment 3, there's actually an activity where you come up with one belief you have about yourself and then 10 patterns that you see in your life as a result of that one belief. And it's really important that you take the time to do this because we have millions of beliefs that we don't even realize that we have. So that creates even trillions of patterns. So I want you to do that because that's really what I want to talk about next week is, just the beliefs that we carry that we didn't recognize, how they affect our lives, what our patterns look like, and then we could really talk about breaking those patterns for good. And Ho'oponopono, is that the name?
I was just going to
I
say
love
that.
it.
Ho'oponopono,
Yes.
if you want to really, shifting gears for a second, if you want to do something that will help you with forgiveness for yourself, there's this Hawaiian
love you,
prayer.
forgive me.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I love you, forgive me.
Thank you.
Thank you. I
It's
love you.
actually a long version. If you do the I do that. We do that
Yeah.
in generational healing in our practice. We do that 4 times. And if you do it 4 times daily, the long version, not just the 4 lines.
Yeah.
If you do the whole version 4 times and repeat it to yourself,
Yeah, it's a prayer.
it's
What's
Yeah.
it
it
called
moves.
again?
It
Yeah.
does.
Ho'oponopono.
Ho'oponopono. I'll get it.
Yeah, but I found when I was going through my healing stuff, I remember just chanting like a mantra, like when something would like trigger me, and that I would like felt bad about myself because you're going through. I would be like, I love you, please forgive me. It was very Rain Man, hot water boom baby, but I found just the chanting of it was enough to. Kind of bring me back to center. So yeah. Okay.
1000%.
So UbuntuFishGallery.com. UBU FishGallery.com. Bye now.
All right, more to come.
Okay.
Take a break, and then maybe we go check in with the Concord Great Pie Company, see where they're going to be this weekend.
Okay.
All right, because we haven't been over there in a while. So great vendor fairs coming up. So more to come. Get your book, Chapter 3, next week, Third Recommandment, and it is, I shall not apply irrational belief systems and toxic behavioral patterns that no longer serve me to my life experiences. All right, check it out. Dana Sardano, thank you as always, and to this great group. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.